Let me ask you something. If you lined up 10 people who all started with the same salary, the same job, the same city, same everything, and you checked back in 20 years, why would one of them be worth $10 million and 9 of them would still be struggling to make rent? It's not luck. It's not connections. It's not even intelligence. It's the rules they play by. See, the top 1% of wealth holders don't just work differently. They think differently. They make decisions differently. And they learned a set of money rules that most people will never hear in school, never read in a standard finance book, and never get told by their parents. Today, I'm going to break down all 7 of those rules. And I'm going to warn you right now, rule number 4 is the one that's going to stop you mid-sentence. Most people, when they hear it, get uncomfortable because it challenges something we've all been taught to believe our entire lives. So stick around for that one. Let's get into it. Before we dive in, I want to be clear about what we're talking about when we say the top 1%. We're not just talking about celebrities or tech founders who got lucky. We're talking about a broad group of people. Doctors who became investors, small business owners who scaled smart, real estate investors, traders, executives, people who built wealth systematically. And when researchers study these people, from studies at the Federal Reserve to the work of Dr. Thomas Stanley in The Millionaire Next Door, to the behavioral economics research coming out of Yale and Harvard, patterns emerge. 7 consistent patterns. 7 rules. And here they are. Rule number 1 sounds simple. In fact, you've probably heard some version of it. But most people get it completely backwards. Here's what the average person does. They get their paycheck, they pay rent, they pay utilities, they buy groceries, they go out on Friday, they buy something online, they buy coffee every morning. And then, at the end of the month, if there's anything left over, they think about saving. That's called saving what's left. The wealthy do the opposite. They call it paying yourself first. The moment money comes in, before anything else gets touched, a fixed percentage goes directly into wealth building. Investments, a business fund, a high-yield account, non-negotiable, automated, gone before they even see it. Automate wealth before lifestyle. Warren Buffett said it best. Do not save what is left after spending. Instead, spend what is left after saving. Now here's the key thing most people miss. It's not about the amount. It's about the habit and the automation. If you make $2,000 a month and you automatically send $200 to an index fund the day your paycheck hits, that's the mindset. That's the muscle. Because what you don't see, you don't spend. And over time, let's say 20 years of consistent investing with an average 8% return, that discipline compounds into something most people can't even imagine. The wealthy don't budget obsessively. They automate the important things and live freely on the rest. Rule number 1. Pay yourself first. Every single time. This one was made famous by Robert Kiyosaki in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But I want to go deeper than the book does, because a lot of people heard the concept and still got it wrong. Here's the definition that matters. An asset puts money into your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. Now let me give you the examples that make people uncomfortable. Your car, unless you use it to generate income. Liability. It depreciates the moment you drive off the lot. It costs you insurance, fuel, maintenance, registration. Every month it drains you. Your house? For most people, and this is controversial, it's closer to a liability than an asset. Your mortgage, your property taxes, your maintenance costs, those are monthly outflows. Yes, it may appreciate, but it doesn't produce income while you live in it. Assets generate income. Liabilities consume it. Now contrast that with what wealthy people buy. Rental properties that generate monthly rent. Dividend-paying stocks that pay them quarterly. Businesses that run without them. Intellectual property, books, courses, patents that generate royalties. The key shift is this. The wealthy ask before every major purchase, will this make me money or cost me money? And they build their life around accumulating the first category. Most people spend their raises on bigger liabilities. A nicer car, a bigger house, a more expensive vacation. The top 1% spend their raises on more assets. That gap compounds every single year. Here's a statistic I want you to sit with. The IRS studied high-income earners and found that the average millionaire has not one, not two, but 7 streams of income. 7. Now I know what you might be thinking. I barely have time for one job. How am I supposed to build 7 income streams? And that's exactly the problem, because most people think of income as time traded for money. You work an hour, you get paid for an hour. That's called active income, and it has a ceiling. You only have 24 hours. The wealthy think about income differently. They build systems that generate money whether they're working or sleeping. Active income has a ceiling. Passive income has none. Let me walk you through a simple example of what multiple income streams can look like for a regular person, not a billionaire. You have a day job. That's income stream 1. You invest in index funds. Dividends from those are stream 2. You buy a small rental property. Rental income is stream 3. You start a small YouTube channel or blog in your area of expertise. Ad revenue and sponsorships become stream 4. None of these need to be massive. $10,000 from 5 different sources is far safer and often far more achievable than $50,000 from one employer who could cut you off tomorrow. The top 1% don't rely on one source of income because they understand a fundamental truth. One stream is one decision away from zero. Diversify your income the way you diversify your investments. Okay. This is the one I warned you about. And I need you to really hear this, because on the surface, it sounds obvious. But when you understand the full weight of what it means, it changes how you make every financial decision from this point forward. Here it is. The top 1% make decisions based on where they want to be in 10, 20, 30 years. Everyone else makes decisions based on how they feel right now. That's it. That's the rule. But let me show you what this looks like in real life, because the difference is staggering. Imagine 2 friends. We'll call them Marcus and David. Both are 25 years old. Both just landed their first real job making $55,000 a year. Marcus thinks in months. He gets his first big paycheck and thinks, I deserve a nice car. I've been working hard. I can afford the payments. He finances a $35,000 car. Monthly payments of $650. And he feels great about it. David thinks in decades. He thinks, if I take that $650 a month and invest it instead of spending it on a car payment, and I get an average return of 8% over 30 years, he drives a used Honda he paid cash for. At age 55, Marcus has a nice driving history and a mediocre retirement account. David has approximately $948,000, almost $1 million, just from that one decision compounded over 30 years. Visual of the compound interest gap. One car, one decision, made in a moment, worth nearly $1 million over a lifetime. This is why the number 4 rule is so uncomfortable, because it forces you to look at every small financial decision you make today and ask, what is the 30-year cost of this? That $6 daily coffee? $2,190 a year. Invested over 30 years, over $247,000. That $200 monthly clothing habit beyond what you need? Invested over 30 years, nearly $300,000. Now, I'm not saying never buy coffee. I'm not saying live like a monk. I'm saying, are you making these decisions consciously? Or are you just reacting to how you feel in the moment? The top 1% have internalized something called delayed gratification, and research from Stanford, the famous marshmallow study and its follow-up work, shows that the ability to delay gratification is one of the strongest predictors of long-term success and wealth across a lifetime. They've trained themselves to ask not what do I want right now, but what does my future self need me to do today? That question, those 9 words, is worth more than any investment tip I could ever give you. Think in decades. Decide accordingly. Now this one requires some nuance. Because most of us were raised to believe that debt is bad, that you should avoid it at all costs, that the goal is to be debt-free. And for consumer debt, credit cards, car loans, buy now, pay later schemes, yes, absolutely. That kind of debt is a wealth destroyer. But the top 1% have a completely different relationship with debt. They use it as a lever. Not all debt is equal. Bad debt destroys wealth. Good debt builds it. Here's the concept. If you can borrow money at 5% interest and invest it in something that generates 12% returns, you made 7% on money that wasn't even yours. That's called leverage. And it's one of the most powerful wealth-building tools in existence. Real estate investors do this every day. They put 20% down on a property, borrow the other 80%, and use rental income to cover the mortgage while the property appreciates. They're building equity and generating cash flow on borrowed money. The wealthy also use something called borrowing against assets. They hold appreciating assets, stocks, real estate, and instead of selling them and paying capital gains tax, they borrow against them at low interest rates. They use that cash to invest or fund their lifestyle. Tax-free. It's a strategy used by some of the wealthiest people in the world. Now, I want to be clear. This strategy requires financial literacy and discipline. Done wrong, leverage destroys you faster than anything else. But the point is this: the wealthy don't avoid debt. They understand it, and they use it only when it makes them more money than it costs them. Bad debt gut borrowing to consume. Good debt gut borrowing to invest. Know the difference. Warren Buffett was once asked what the best investment he ever made was. He didn't say Berkshire Hathaway. He didn't say Coca-Cola. He didn't say Apple. He said a Dale Carnegie public speaking course he took as a young man. He estimated it returned more value to him than any financial investment he ever made. And I want you to think about why that is. Your earning potential, your ability to generate income, is your most valuable asset. It's worth more than any stock, any property, any business idea you have right now. Because it's the engine that funds everything else. Your skills are the highest returning asset you own. The top 1% invest aggressively in skills, knowledge, and relationships. They buy courses. They hire coaches. They go to conferences. They read constantly. Studies show that the average CEO reads about 50 books a year. 50. That's almost one a week. They also invest in their network, because there is a reason the cliché your network is your net worth has survived for decades. Opportunities, deals, partnerships, introductions, ideas, flow through relationships. And here is what separates this rule from wishful thinking. The wealthy don't ask, can I afford this course or this coach? They ask, what is my ROI on this investment in myself? A $2,000 sales course that helps you earn $20,000 more per year is a 10x return. No stock on earth guarantees that. A $500 book on real estate investing that helps you buy your first property? Priceless. Invest in yourself first. Relentlessly. Strategically. Because everything else in this video depends on the quality of your thinking, and your thinking is only as good as what you put into it. This is the rule that almost nobody talks about in financial content. Because it's not sexy. It doesn't have a flashy name. But ask anyone who's ever lost serious money, and they'll tell you it's the most important lesson they ever learned. Building wealth is hard. But losing it can happen in a moment. An unexpected medical emergency can wipe out savings. A lawsuit can devastate a business. A market crash can cut your portfolio in half. A partner betrayal, a bad deal, an uninsured loss. These things happen to people every single day. The wealthy don't just build wealth, they protect it. The top 1% think obsessively about risk management, not in a fear-based way, in a strategic way. Let me give you the key pillars they use. Insurance, health insurance, life insurance, disability insurance, liability coverage. These aren't expenses, they're wealth protection tools. One catastrophic health event without insurance can bankrupt a family in America. The wealthy know this and act accordingly. Legal structures, LLCs, trusts, holding companies. Wealthy people don't own things in their own names if they can help it. They use legal structures to separate personal assets from business liabilities. If a lawsuit hits the business, personal assets are protected. Diversification, not just in investments, but across asset classes, countries, and currencies. No single event should be able to wipe you out. That's the principle. Emergency funds. Even the ultra-wealthy keep liquid reserves. 6 months minimum. Some keep far more, because opportunity costs money, and you need dry powder available when the moment comes. And finally, estate planning. The wealthy think about generational wealth. They don't just build wealth for themselves, they structure it to transfer to the next generation efficiently, minimizing estate taxes and legal complications. Protection isn't exciting, but it's the difference between a legacy and a story about what could have been. Let's bring it all together. Numbered list appearing one by one as you speak. Rule 1. Pay yourself first. Automate wealth before lifestyle. Rule 2. Buy assets, not liabilities. Ask, does this make me money or cost me money? Rule 3. Build multiple income streams by design. One source is one decision away from zero. Rule 4. The one that changes everything. Think in decades, not months. Your future self is making a silent plea every time you open your wallet. Rule 5. Use debt strategically. Bad debt consumes. Good debt builds. Rule 6. Invest in yourself relentlessly. Your skills and knowledge are your highest returning asset. Rule 7. Protect what you build. Insurance, legal structures, diversification, liquidity, and estate planning, these are not optional. Now here's the honest truth I want to leave you with. None of these rules require you to be born rich. None of them require a prestigious education or a lucky break. They require a decision. A decision to think differently about money than the way most people around you think about it. The rules exist. The knowledge is out there. The people who learn them and apply them consistently, they end up in a completely different place than those who don't. The question is, which group are you going to choose? If this video gave you even one idea that shifts something for you, hit that like button, subscribe for more content like this, and drop in the comments, which rule hit hardest for you? I read every single comment, and if you want to go deeper, I've linked a video below that walks through exactly how to build your first passive income stream from zero. Watch that next. I'll see you in the next one.